this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here at 444 Spirit Way. Oh, turn!
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time. The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hi, Kellee.
Hi, James. Glad we went for a drive.
You drive so quickly.
Yes, I do. Now I drive like an old lady behind tractors.
And that living in Wisconsin, God only knows, in the rural areas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hi, honey. How are you doing this week? It's been something,
crazy.
huh?
It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody who's made wonderful emails and comments on my Facebook page about my sister passed over. So thank you everybody for that. I really appreciate that. Nice support from a lot of people around the world.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yeah, I just got back to that in California on Friday. What day? Friday, Saturday, Friday. I think.
Friday. Yeah, and you had a heck of a time. I know, trying to get out. I mean,
Yes,
we're gonna get into this catching up. We really wanted to catch up because there's so much.
This is called the catch-up show because there's a lot to catch up on for everybody.
It feels like you haven't been on, like we haven't been together in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it's actually been 1 week.
It feels like a long time, right?
But it does feel like a long time.
Yeah, it feels a lot longer than 2 weeks. It feels much longer for some reason.
Oh my gosh, we say hi to some people. Hi, Lori.
Yep.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Hi,
Hi,
Amy
Angel.
Parker. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Benjamin.
And Margaret. Hello.
Hi, Renee.
Susie.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Kim. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Heather and Katie. Or Kate, I should say. And Alejandro. And
We have a lot of new people too, James.
Peggy Tripp. Yes.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, everyone that's new. Connie. Hello, Kim Jones. Dawn. Hi, Sue Wells.
Hi.
Sue Wells is from Ohio.
Is she?
Didn't know that. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Well, welcome everyone that's new too. Thank you for coming back, and also the people that are new.
Oh, here Lisa Jamuzian says, hello, just came on. We missed you in Fort Lauderdale. I imagine you couldn't fly in. What a mess it is here, she says.
I was going to swim, but
oh, James, that was...
So, yeah, we'll get into Fort Lauderdale in a second. I will go down there. This has been postponed, but I will go. And I knew that was going to happen about a year ago when we booked that date. I just knew. I said to my agent who booked it, I said, I'm not sure about that date. What do you mean? I said, oh, just try it. You'll be fine. I said, yeah, I'm not sure about that date. It just feels weird.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Wow.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rand, thank you. So thank you, Tippy Landis. Kellee, what's going on astrologically? Because I got to tell you, what you mentioned, what was about a month ago, whatever, and I experienced everything and then some the past week and a half. It's been... Well, really, the past 3 months.
I was worried about you traveling that week, and really also about this
traveled
week
and
too.
Get back and then traveled again. So it's like
I know. I mean, there's been so much that has gone on, but you want me to talk about astrology, and then we'll get into the catching up.
Me. I knew all I was doing is sitting there in the seat thinking, "Mars out of bounds, Mars out of bounds,"
which it still is until May 5th. Mars continues to be out of bounds.
Bloody Mary, please.
But Bloody Mary. But there's so much more. I mean, this is really, you know what they say in Texas? They don't say things are big. They say they're large. Yeah. So this is one of those large weeks. This week in particular has a lot of aspects to it, and probably 10 major aspects. And I'm just going to hit 5 of them because I could just do a whole show on this. I mean, just this week, it's such an intense week. Just this week.
Eclipse is tomorrow, I think.
Well, no, the eclipse. So let's start. Well, we've got the eclipse coming up this week, but first, let me start with your favorite word, James, which is Gandanta. Gandanta. So now,
Gandanta.
It's so funny. So I'm talking Vedic astrology, everybody, but Jupiter is Gandanta right now. So what does that mean? And it means that it's when a planet goes from a water sign into a fire sign. So right now, Jupiter in Vedic astrology is at the last possible degree, 29 degrees of Pisces, which means it's the last degree of the zodiac, which makes it really, really powerful. And it's going from Pisces into Aries. And this Gandanta actually lasts, James, until May 5th. And what Gandanta, I know, and what Gandanta means is it means drowning. It
Water,
actually
yeah, you
means
said that years
drowning.
ago. Yeah.
Right. And so this is going to be a very intense time because it will bring a lot of more floods. Like, James, I'll give you an example. Of course, we had the flood in Florida, right, in Fort Lauderdale. But at my house, it was 83 in Wisconsin on Saturday, and then it snowed yesterday and today. Now, what is going on with this, right? So what Gandanta does is it actually means out of control behavior. So it can be in water, it can be in fire, it can be also mean something that is out of control, like war, violence, weapons, all of those kind of extreme things. So we've got this going on until May 5th. So this is just one out of the 5 I'm going to talk about. The next thing we have is on April 19th or 20th, depending on where you live. We have the solar eclipse in Aries. Now, this thing about this is if you're in Los Angeles, it starts at about 6:30 p.m. and ends at about like, I don't know, about.
Anybody?
What?
Sorry, excuse me. I'm talking to my dog, Pearl.
Oh.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed. Pearl, go.
Pearl, we're in the middle of eclipse talk.
Good girl. Okay, she's fine.
Okay, so if you're in Los Angeles, this solar eclipse begins on April 19th, and it starts on about 6:34 p.m. and then it goes till about midnight, actually. But if you're in New York, if you're on the East Coast, it begins at 9:34 and ends on April 20th. So it begins on the 19th and ends on the 20th. So it depends on where you are in the world, but just know it's the 19th and the 20th, basically.
That's Wednesday, right?
Wednesday and into Thursday. And eclipses bring huge change. The kicking or screaming, that is the point of an eclipse. But this eclipse is really rare. It's rare because it's called, it's a hybrid eclipse. And it's a hybrid eclipse because it's a partial and it's an annual and it's a total solar eclipse into one event. So it's really a rare event. And the last time we had this was actually 10 years ago. The last time we had one of these hybrid eclipses.
And Kelly, a lot of people have mentioned how the time has been acting very strange, very weird. Yeah. A lot of people, the 4-car pileup, I saw that. A lot of weird things. And because Mars is out of bounds still, right?
Mars is out of bounds. Yep. This is going to be a shit show week because it's so intense, because this eclipse is transformative. Okay. And they all are, but this one has a deeper to it. And the reason it does is because it's in Aries. The sun is exalted in Aries, and that makes it more powerful. And on top of that, James, if that's not enough, it's next to Rahu, and Rahu expands this energy. So I'm going to tell you what it's good for.
Rahu is a wounded healer, isn't it?
Rahu is the malefic planet in Vedic astrology that causes all kinds of mayhem. That the reason it does is to propel us forward.
Transform.
It means transformation. Absolutely. Yeah. And so with this eclipse, it's going to birth new ideas inside of you. It's going to begin a lot of new projects for you. It's going to, if you are somebody that has, say you have your inner fire has kind of died, this energy is going to fan it out. But if you're somebody that has been like a rager, guess what? It's going to be tamed a bit, So this is going to be a very intense eclipse, because Aries means the spark of life, okay? And the key phrase of this is I am, or I exist. So we're going to see a lot of people out there really intense. The energy is going to be intense.
Be careful driving, everyone.
Yes, be careful driving. The best thing you can do on an eclipse during that time really is to stay in, say positive affirmations, prayer, meditation.
Someone asked what kind of meditation. I would think a grounding meditation would be
absolutely good. Absolutely. And with really positive thoughts, because the thing about this eclipse is if you have a negative thought, it will expand the negative thought. Yeah, exactly. And if you have a positive thought, it will expand that. And that's what you want to do. You want to absolutely expand the positive in life, because the positive thing about an eclipse is it does change us. It does grow us. So this is
change.
It forces change. Yeah. So this is going to be, it's necessary. It's going to bring opportunities to us that we didn't even know existed. Okay. So from that standpoint, it's going to be amazing. But James,
And Margaret, how about hiding under a big rock? That's a good idea, Margaret.
Good idea, actually. So the next thing after that's on the 19th and 20th.
One second. So with Kadanta there, with that,
yes,
Kadanta's water. So would you see a lot of emotions come up? It's a time for a lot of emotional stuff too.
Oh, you betcha. We're going to see a lot of emotions because of the water going into fire. And that's going to cause a lot of confusion
and drama,
and people will get cloudy thoughts. I mean, you really want to stay as grounded as possible during this period of time, because after that, on the 21st, wait for it, we have Mercury going retrograde.
So hold on, Kellee, because you're going way too fast for these people.
Sorry.
And for me, because you know it so well.
I know. Sorry.
Wednesday and Thursday, the eclipse goes from Wednesday night to Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to get time to ground yourself, meditate, positive thoughts. Then Thursday on, we have
on the 21st, Thursday, we have Mercury going retrograde.
Oh, there it is.
And guess what? There it is.
That's
and guess
these days,
right?
Mercury retrograde. Oh my gosh! Now it's like, oh, that's an old.
But this Mercury retrograde's pretty intense, because Mercury is going to be in the house of Mars, and Mars is going to be in the house of Mercury, so it's going to be very intense. But also, again, it's in Mercury. I'm sorry, it's in Aries, and that Aries energy for this means sudden, extreme, shocking, cultural, economic, meteorological events. It could bring all kinds of, intense energy.
Could be war.
Absolutely.
Mars rules war, so it could be, folks.
Yes, and move something that moves.
Be a time, Kellee, where someone makes a mistake about war.
Oh, yes.
Push a button by mistake, but something like that. Make choices that can affect people in a war.
Yes. Absolutely. This month I think is transforming a big. It's a lot to handle this month.
Yeah.
So yes. And on top of that, on the 22nd, so now we're covering almost every day this week, but on the 22nd, we have another amazing situation where Jupiter is going into Aries on April 22nd.
Wow.
This is Vedic astrology.
It's really happening this week.
It really is. Now, Jupiter only changes signs once a year. So when any planet changes a sign, it's a big deal. So this Jupiter entering Aries. Now, Jupiter likes Aries. They get along. It works well. It means new beginnings. Okay. So we're going to see on the 22nd, we're going to feel actually a shift in energy. All of a sudden you might think, I can breathe again, or I have energy. I can do this. I can do things, So it's a very important time when it goes into Aries. But of course, it also, because it's in Aries, and because at the same time, James, we have a stellium in Aries, which means we will have 5 planets in Aries. Think of all that intense energy, right?
And
Mars energy.
Aries is an energy which is it's an Aries is you jump into things and later go, oops, I shouldn't have done that. So
yes.
That's an oops energy, folks. So you
might
that. Yeah.
That is going to be it. I mean, this is what we're going to need to learn. We're going to, the lessons out there are many, but some of them are about patience and self-control, because Aries can just get to something very fast. And it might be the kind of thing where you want to really think first before you respond, because this energy is intense. Because again, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is, war and intensity. So this is quite a week.
Rita said, I'm very unsettled. And a lot of us are unsettled with that. So I'm just going to suggest what I'm doing. It seems to work. Is I just ground myself by whether I'm lying in bed or lying on a couch or lying on the floor or lying on the grass. And I just imagine I'm in the garden and I have I'm in a flower garden or with grass, and I'm just in that. I'm part of that. And that Mother Earth is nurturing me.
Well, what you said is just wonderful, because also on April 22nd, it's Earth Day.
I must
So how great is that? You must be psychic. It's Earth Day.
Something about that. Yeah.
So, and Earth Day is something that, we should celebrate. We chose to come to Earth. We should take care of Earth.
Earth. We have we have a responsibility.
And do you know who founded Earth Day? You're going to laugh. You're not going to believe it. It's a senator, and I don't remember his name, but he was from Wisconsin.
Really?
I know. I said the same thing.
I thought you were going to say someone from the 60s.
Yeah. I think it was 1970,
Okay.
and I forget his name.
I remember when it first started. And I actually said to somebody about an hour ago, I'm a child of the 60s, which I'm like, oh God, I'm old. Yeah.
I'm older than you are, so.
You're children of the 60s.
Oh God.
Being a hippie now is like the in thing here where I live. And it's like, I think it was twice over we did the hippie thing.
Oh my God. So anyway, it's quite a week that we have. I'd say everybody, get grounded.
Journal,
meditate, go inward, think before you act.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Think before you act. Yeah, for sure.
If you can. So, well, anyway, that's what's going on. So,
someone's birthday is Friday. Good. Then families come from Chicago.
Oh boy. I'll tell you, if you were born during this period, or if you know somebody born this time, your life will change greatly.
Yeah.
Greatly.
Senator Galen Nelson.
That's it. Thank you very much. Whoever said that. Thank you.
Joy School. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, Joy Shad says, I was on a cruise with James and Brian Weiss in 2000.
Oh, great. Nice. Come on the Alaska cruise.
Now let's talk about the Alaska cruise.
So the Alaska cruise, we still have room. So I just found out from Ron, we still have room.
Okay.
And people can sign up still. They're not taking any, get this one. They're not taking any regular people to sign up. You have to sign up part of my group. That's the only ones that are taking new bookings because there's so much going on. And they said we'd extend, James, the opening for your tour, for your group. And we'll extend that to the middle of May. And then that's May 15th, I think. Okay. So you can still room. And it's very interesting because my sister passed. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it's so fascinating when she was giving me these things. I'm like, I'll be used that for the cruise. That's part of the cruise. There's an exercise.
I'm so glad. Yeah, she gave you a lot of information.
Well, she was going to go on the cruise. Well, now she will be on the cruise, but in a different form. Just saying.
Oh.
Someone mentioned that to me at the funeral. I said, I was just talking to your sister, a month ago about going on the cruise. I said, well, she will be going on that cruise, but in a different form. But she will be.
We'll find dimes everywhere.
So we had a whole thing with dimes, my sister. And after my sister passed, Kellee just texted me because you're never going to believe this.
Yeah.
And she said, but I was just taking a shower and I never used this conditioner or shampoo. And I heard the clunk. And she looks and there's a dime.
And there was a dime.
And my sister wrote a book about dimes, I guess. It was a book about the manifestation. And Kellee showed a picture of it. And the dimes. Yeah.
And then I called you and you said I was in the shower. You were in the shower and you said you were talking to Lynn.
I was thinking of you in the shower.
I know. How wild was that?
Time. We take showers together psychically. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest relationship we have.
It's true. What are you doing taking a shower? So let's talk about your week, James. What was all of this like for you?
It was very, very strange. It was very surreal. And it was surreal when I went back to New York. I went back there, but time is gone. I don't remember time-wise. And that's usually what happens because, as you know, Kellee, any trauma, you're thrown into, as a lot of people know, you're thrown into a space of like, what's going on here? And it's just not reality that we know it. So when she was at the hospital, they discovered a cancer in her spine and her sacral area and all that. And she was on Tylenol. So it was a bad pain. She didn't like any pain medication. So I went back to New York with my brother and we insisted that, she should take something. And she finally did. And it was, it was a tough one because, she wasn't where I said, Lynn, you don't have to go through this pain. I believe that no one needs to suffer. And this even confirmed that even more, that none of us as humans need to suffer. We don't need to. We're not made that way. Souls don't need to suffer. Stopping is suffering souls. And medications are good. Pain relief is good. Morphine, good. All of it is good because, scientists were inspired to invent these items, these chemicals there to bring them back to first started the spirit world to help us with not suffering with physical pain. We don't need to. You don't gain anything in physical pain. Although I will say something, I had a lot of insights during this whole process. And one of the insights I thought of, and Kellee, I think you and I talked about it. I do believe that sometimes, and I don't know the answer to this, but I'm hypothesizing that maybe there's certain cancers, some ways of dying or pain that's karmic, or that you build up that at the end of your exit, that maybe something you caused in life and you burn it off then, or some karma. What do you think about
What I think is that we may have chosen this life. This particular lifetime has a lot to do with completion of karmas. And I'm wondering if, because I have had clients that have had really unbelievably difficult and challenging endings to their life. And I've always believed that it had to do with karma from this life, past lives, many lives added up here. And they decided to take on everything that they needed to take on in this life. And that includes the end.
Yeah, there were so many different things going on at once, and I took it all in so I could share with everybody what happened, because the experiences are rich.
Yeah.
I was here at my office, and I might have mentioned this one unless we're on the call here, but that I was at my desk, and all of a sudden this energy came to me. I can't say it was someone I knew. It was a collective energy, and said, "You need to go to New York now." I'm like, okay. I got a ticket and I left the next morning. And that's when I went there, and she was in a hospital, and it was really bad, traumatic. And she asked me, am I dying? And I said, you know, I couldn't say, yes, you're dying. I said, there's no death. And, you know, we're going to take a magic carpet. Now, these are the things that happen. I'm on the plane on the way there. And all of a sudden I wanted to play Tommy the Who, this song, Coming to the Camp, this song. And then I'm thinking of these different things. And I get there, and she's suddenly, we're sitting there, she's in pain, and trying to help her get the pain for her. And she was in and out of it. It was really severe. And then she got the pain, thank God, the pain medication, Dilaudid and something else, oxycodone, I guess. And she finally got to her, because I was there when they administered it, and we waited like an hour, and she finally felt it. And then she was okay. She'd go in and go out. And then at one point she goes, welcome to the camp. And she's singing the Tommy the Who song. I was like, that's very weird. And then I said, you know, when she asked me, am I dying? I said, Lynn, there's no death. We're on a magic carpet ride together. At the funeral, a friend of mine said to me, you know, it's funny you say that, because she used to refer to the magic carpet ride all the time. Like, really? And in my car, there was a Steppenwolf song called the Magic Carpet Ride that came on today when I was driving my dog back from.
Wasn't that from the 60s?
Yeah, from the 60s.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
And anyway, I got there, and to make a long story short, my brother, myself, and my sister Maura were there, and we helped her. And I mean, we really helped her. At one point, I don't know why I was there, but I mean, I know I was there, but she'd get really upset and negative, and I'd say, turn that frown into a clown. And I think my job was to keep the energy up. And I don't know, I think more stuff happens that we are unaware of when someone's about to make that passage. I just know it, because I think energy is being pulled and used, and I think the atmosphere is changing. So then the second or third night, and I was there, and it was about 8 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden these beings came in that room, filled up the room. Can't say who they were. It was just this energy you feel filling up a room. And I could say, yeah, they were like whitish light, but I can't really say that, because it was just an energy. And I heard, your time has come to go now. You need to leave now. So I turned to my sister and said, I got to go now. Don't know who it was, but I knew I had to go. So that was interesting.
Wow.
So fast forward to when she passes over, and I went back. And on the plane back was interesting, because I asked her, she said right away, well, she came to me before she died. She came to me when I was in the bathroom shaving. She said she's being helped by a certain person. So I asked you this, Kellee, that the soul, and I think I asked Lynn Probert from England too, that the part of the soul, and she's done a lot of readings for these people that have passed over, as have I, but this certain aspect I really find it fascinating, that there's part of the soul, most of the time we find that it's already passed. Because in physical time, linear time, it's hard to tell that. But Lynn Probert said, and I agree, just many people think that's part of the soul. The last part of that, little part of that soul in the physical is the last part to go, but most of it's already over there. So they come back to you.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And she said, there's no pain in death, which we know there isn't any pain. They barely remember. It's like a dream. And it was like, whoa. So my sister, when I was on the plane, went back, and I said, well, what's going on? She goes, she called me Jamie. She goes, I can't stand that world, that earth world. She goes, thank God I'm out of it. She said, thank God I'm out of it. And she showed me, and it wasn't, again, everybody, it's not like a linear thing. It's just moments or spaces, because they're outside of time. But it was and I swear to you, it was the weirdest feeling, because I'm shifting through time, and I'm shifting through space and time. And I was aware of like these beings carrying her out of the room. And I remember it brought me back to a time in Viking time. And it was a Viking ceremony, and she was like on their shoulders. It was all in white. Oh, they were all like light beings, I'd say. And she was luminous in blue and white aura field. That's all I can say to you. And I got that vision. And it was like they were carrying out of that room, like, oh, and from right back, this was like a Viking ceremony. So her and I had to have a Viking lifetime together, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And then she showed me this blue white shoes, and she said to me, I'm glad I'm not of this world anymore. And then she said, we're all part of, there are many worlds. As is true, Mavis Patil says that we're worlds within worlds within worlds, which is very true. But she meant it much more, she clarified it. My sister said, we're part of all these different worlds. One world might be an academic world, might be a creative world, might be emotional world, but they're all part of us. But we choose what worlds we want to work on when we come back into this earth world.
Oh my gosh.
And she said, when your loved ones pass over, they go to these different worlds to work on things, which I knew my father was working on academic stuff, and my mother was doing social work with young women who passed. So they were in different worlds. And when someone's about to pass over, there's a calling that goes out to these worlds, and there's an affinity of that soul group. So all those members of the soul group, just like here on the earth, when someone passes, we all fly or travel to a certain location. Like the United States, there's many different states, but yet it's one country. Same type of thing. And this calling, she said, there's like reception area, reception hall, or reception space that all these souls come together to welcome the newly arrived.
Wow. So they get the call and they all show up, just like we get the call on this side to show up to the. That's right. Then we're notified. Yeah.
And the weird thing was, we went to the wake, and I thought, this is just I just don't like it. It's so archaic. And she said to me, she was very into this whole thing. She said, "Oh, James," goes, "Oh, I hate this. This was terrible. This is just morbid." I said, "Well, you wanted this." She goes, and she looks down at her body, which didn't really look like her. She goes, "That's not me, right? Oh my God." And I'm not going to use the curse words that she used. Right. She goes, "What?" And she goes, "That's not me. That's not me." I said, "I know it's you." She goes, "We call that the imposter." I said, "Okay, the imposter." She goes, "That's not me. That's not me." She goes, "I don't want any of this." And then we went to the funeral mass. She said the same thing. And I'm like, wow. So that was an interesting change, and very, very interesting. And she said, "What are you doing in that world?" She goes, "It's a rough world, that earth." She goes, "I don't want to be there." She goes, "It's going to, World War III is coming." I called you and told you about that.
Yeah, you did tell me about that.
And I say, well, we could see that possibility is there.
Yeah.
And she said, you need to get out of that. I'm like, well, you give me the keys. But it's very interesting. That was her first reaction. And very interesting, because I thought she'd have some regrets about the family or this or that, but she didn't. The funny thing is, though, in her lifetime, she had trouble with the family, and kind of like family splintered apart from different things that she was responsible for. And at the end, all the family came back together. So it was really healing. So
she brought everybody back in that time. Yeah, that's interesting.
That was a celebration that she brought everybody back, and it was good that was how she left.
Did you get the sense? I know we talked about that. You thought you said that she was in some reflection. She was having.
So that just happened yesterday, because I've been tuning into it here and there, and she's meeting different people, and then I tuned into yesterday. Said, well, what's going on there? One thing I wrote this down to tell everybody, because one of the things she said first at the wake when I was looking at, she goes, "It's not me." I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well," and she goes, "I slipped out of my skin." She goes, "Tell everybody it's a slipping out of the skin." And there's, of course, no pain, which I knew that. And she said, let's see. Yeah, slipping out of the skin. And it's all about the lessons you've learned. And all of your lessons are met when you pass over. You see all the lessons you see what your curriculum was. Yeah. And you see the bigger part of you. And that earth part of you is very tiny. And she said that's nothing. It's like it's nothing to you. So you don't pay so much attention to the earth part. But look, she said, look, it's the higher part of you, your spiritual part, your soul part. And Lynn knew about that, but she didn't really experience it till she passed. I'll say it that way. She liked the idea of spirituality and doing this, but I don't think she really understood totally till she passed, which most of us won't understand until we have that experience. But it was slipping out of the skin. I thought it was very interesting.
Slipping out of the skin.
Slipping out of the skin.
Yeah.
Right? And I've heard that before. You've heard it where people pass. They say they discard the bodies like in a heavy,
like a suitcase,
worn out.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand. I mean, we understand that now when we live here, so we get so having that perspective for everybody certainly helps. It certainly helps.
Wow. Did you get the sense that she was doing a life review yet, or she's about to?
No, I said yes. So she was in a reflective mode, and that's interesting. So it's like reflective. So I assume that's life review. And because we're outside of time, they're outside of time. It's so interesting because when we talk about them coming back to do communication with us, they obviously got to slip into some kind of a column or some kind of a time scenario because they're outside of time. So it's so difficult for that spirit, the souls, to come into a limited space. And I remembered years ago, my teacher, Brian Hurst, taught me this analogy, and I loved it. And it made sense. When they come to speak to us, it's like you and I, human beings, going down to 8 feet of water at a pool, sitting down on the floor of the pool and having a conversation. But it's hard for you to do because that's not the vibration anymore.
Right,
it's too dense.
Wow.
So same thing, you have to go back to the top. So very similar to that.
Wow. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I didn't get a lot of regrets from her, which we usually get that from spirit, maybe later on, but nothing like that yet. I think it was a big deal for her that one thing she did say, here you go. One of the first things she said to me on the plane on the way back, she says, James, it's all about love. She goes, it's on love. I said, we know it's about love. And then she goes, no. She goes, it's all love. And she said, the only love I said, can you describe it that I understand it? She said, the only way I could describe it is the love I have for my children. Okay. And the day before I left for the back to the east, I was watering my garden, and I said, "Oh," in my head I said, "Lynn, you got to see the flowers, the plants, and I'm glad you got to see that before you left." And she goes, "I didn't really see it. I wasn't able to see beauty in this lifetime."
Oh, so she did get there. Wow. Describe what it's like to lose a sibling. Because Shara says, thank you so much for sharing, James. It's very comforting. Because a lot of people are saying this. Thank you. Lori LeClaire says, thanks for saying this, James, for sharing this.
You're welcome. It's a weird thing because I didn't, when you lose a parent, you don't expect, like a mother is, to me, is a heavy duty one. Didn't expect it, but it was heavy, as you know, Kellee, firsthand.
Heavy duty.
Father's different, I guess. Yeah. I mean, even if you had a bad relationship with them or good, I think the father's one way you lose them, and the mother, I think, is overall is a heavy. No matter we're talking to your mother or not, it's a big deal.
Right.
And then a sibling, to me, was like half part of you is ripped out. Part of you is definitely.
Well, you said to me today, your fabric was ripped out.
Part of your fabric is ripped out. It's got to be it.
Yeah.
And people handle it so differently. Like my other sister handled it very differently. She was very emotionally upset about it, and very into. And my brother was great. He was, well, we move on. I'm like, yeah, he got that. And I was kind of like studying the whole thing. I was like, wow, let's see what's going on. So, because she had the awareness of life after death, she had mediumship and all that. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But it does force you to look at your own immortality. No doubt about it.
Right.
Like, I'm coming home and I'm getting rid of all my physical crap I don't need. And I'm making sure my will is up to date because you don't want to leave that to anyone. And it just makes you realize, we all have each day could be our last. You don't know. So make sure to make the most of it.
And the other stuff, I told you, I shared with you that I had a dream about an earthworm. Do you remember me telling you that?
You got to share that with everybody.
So,
this
is just kind of wild. So while you were in New York, you had called me from New York that night. I went to bed. I had a dream that I was walking on earth, on land, on some
well, what were we talking about, Kellee? Though it was kind of important to what we were talking about. We were talking about how they come back to you, or symbols.
Yeah, well, how they come back to us, and what's important and what's not important.
Okay.
So in this dream,
everybody.
I'm walking with my mom, and we're walking on earth. We're walking on the land, and it's kind of in a dream, and it's kind of a barren land. And next thing you know, my mom drops the body and turns into an earthworm. And her diamonds go flying one way, her diamond necklace, her diamond tennis bracelet, her diamond earrings, and she's an earthworm. And I pick up the earthworm, and I've got to find some deep, dark soil to put her in so she'll survive. But the point was, so many points of this earthworm is that she didn't need the trappings, if you will. My mother was a Beverly Hills matron. So that was a big deal. All of a sudden the diamonds, you don't need that anymore.
Be of the earth. Yeah.
Just be of the earth. Absolutely. So then yesterday I was in my kitchen, and it was about 5:00, and I was going to make dinner, and swear to God, an earthworm was in our kitchen, on our kitchen floor, just there. And I looked at Dawn, and Dawn said, well, where did that come from? I said, how would I know? It's snowing out. I haven't been outside. How did an earthworm show? I'm like, what is going on here? So scoop up this, I'm not kidding you, this earthworm. And I'm like, oh, Mom, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And we found a place in the snow, in the dirt. We dug the dirt to move the snow. I'm freezing my friggin' hands off. And we put it in there because this was my mom, but it meant something. I mean, you talk about totems, right? That was a big totem for me.
And your kitchen floor.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm posting it on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I wrote something up about it because I was so moved on the kitchen floor.
Did you? Yeah. Do you have a picture of it today?
I didn't. Don't. Do you have the picture of it?
I might. I'm not sure if I do or not.
I can send it. I can send it to Renee because Renee, I should have sent you this, Renee. If you can get this, Renee. Here you go, Renee. I'm going to send this to you.
Everyone it's
here. I meant to do that earlier. Renee, I'm texting this to you right now, Renee. If you get a chance, you can see that.
I think I deleted you, Kelly.
Sorry. Oh, that's right. It's just a worm. It's just a worm. But I sent it to my mom. So I can't believe I just sent it. I sent it to Renee. Renee, you have it.
Now that's pretty weird. So Renee, if you could put it up, that'd be great. I on the way up from the airport to my house. Oh yeah. So let me just go on. I'm sorry, Kelly. Let me just jump in here.
Yeah, please.
So going to that funeral thing, and I go to Fort Lauderdale for my event in Fort Lauderdale I had. And then the flood started. So that
the 1,000-year flood, by the way.
1,000-year flood. Mm-hmm. I know I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go to Florida. So I called up my assistant. I said, I can't. We need to move that. We need to let that go and get me back to San Diego, my doggy, and move the date. And the person to the agent said, well, they haven't canceled. I said, oh, I'm canceling. I'm postponing it. I'm not going. I'm not traveling. I'm going to go back to San Diego. Because I was at this point, I was exhausted from the whole situation. Of course. So we had to hurry up and get a ticket. My sister was working the ticket, and I had my credit card, and she used my credit card. And then I was so out of it, I didn't realize I was getting texts or emails that there's been a fraud alert in your card because my assistant's phone number isn't connected to that card, right? It's the only card I have. So then, I had to call I had to call MasterCard up, and you get outsourced to the Philippines. And they said, well, it's not working with that phone number. I said, well, my mother's maiden name? No. What's your hobby? They didn't have any of that. I said, we'll have to send you a letter in the next 10 days, business days. We'll send you a letter with a code. I'm like, what? What? I called 3 times. It's like, I've never had in the history of having credit cards. I said, how about I just cancel the account? They didn't know it. They stayed right on their script. And I said, get off the script.
Get off the script now.
Get off the script. And it was just wild. So I ended up getting the last seat on a plane back to San Diego. And it was on Alaskan Airlines. It was the last seat. A coach seat, the very first coach seat. When they left. And there's that lovely partition of curtain between first and my experience, because I've traveled I never had this experience where I'm sitting there. I'm like, this feels so, first of all, so surreal. The whole experience of my sister, for everybody, it feels so surreal. When you talk about losing a sibling, it just felt surreal. Like it's something to this weird, warped time thing. I looked up and the ceiling is filthy in this plane. The curtain is half off. And then I looked down on the tray table and it was masking tape taped to the side. Couldn't even use a table. So I had to use the one in the middle. Thank God no one was there. I used that. And the seatbelt didn't work. I'm like, excuse me, flight attendant, my seatbelt. Oh, you just got to twist it around to the right. I'm like, what? And then I had to use the restroom all the way to the back plane, which everyone has, but you do the side shuffle all the way down.
Oh, James, that was
and it was
terrible.
just insane.
And it was a 6-hour flight, right?
6 hours, 11 minutes.
And
then I had a car pick me up to bring me to my house. And I thought, this is just weird. I feel so out of time. There's just no time. And you can't put this into time. It's so weird. Yesterday, I got a phone call from the guy who runs the company, a friend of mine, car company. He said, James, did you happen to leave your watch in the car? Because the driver found a watch in your car. I'm like, I thought I had one.
No.
Time.
Oh, my God. I mean,
there's no time.
Oh, right. There's no time, literally. But so you were really shook. I mean, all of this is.
Oh yeah, it was my dark night of the soul. Yeah. It really was. It was, and it wasn't my sister's passing. It was all the energy and all the people that came together and the wake and all that energy, which I'm just not used to being with people anyway. Like when I first went to JFK, I had to get out of the plane. I saw all these people like, whoa, and I stood against the wall. I'm like, I can't go down. This is just too weird. I'm not used to being around because of COVID, and I haven't been around people, and I'm just not used to that. So it was so striking from a lot of different ways. It really was. It was intense.
Well, it's interesting because you used to travel so much.
I used to travel
all the time. You were gone all the time.
Yeah.
What a different time now.
It's so different.
Oh yeah, that's the
There
worm,
it is,
everybody.
everyone.
There it
There's the
is.
worm.
Yeah, just like that. Just like that.
Oh, Kelly.
And then there it was. It was the damnedest thing ever, I have to say. It was Mom.
And it was alive, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, wiggle, wiggle. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
weird.
And I was so weird. I was so worried that it was gonna, I would somehow accidentally smash him or something. I'm like, oh God, I gotta get this
out
out.
when you saw the worm there.
I screamed. Yeah. Yeah. And then Don goes, well, he goes, well, you must have brought it in. I said, I didn't, it's snowing. I didn't go outside in this weather. I mean, you've got to be
And the next day
kidding.
was 80 degrees.
Okay. This is just we are living in uncanny times. Just really uncanny times. It's it is something.
Someone said, "Did you think of
Going
taking the worm,
fishing?
go
Yeah, good job. No, nobody. No, but I'll tell you what I was worried about. Then we have all these birds out there, right? And I'm like, oh no, don't eat my mom.
The other day I was walking around my garden here and I heard chirp, 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 and there were two birds and Pearl was playing and the bird, I think, no, was it a broken wing or was a baby just fell from the nest. And I had two of them actually. So I gotta get her away from it. I'm like, it's okay, you can fly.
I know. I always get
It's a
so.
weird time. And it's springtime.
I know.
I think.
I know. I think it is too. I'm not even sure what it is, but
I live in California for over 40 years. I've never seen weather like this. And we're in constant overcast now in San Diego for the past month. Look at it, it's all gray skies.
And you always had sunny weather there. Always.
May gray is in April. It's a weird. And I was in New York and it was 90 degrees and sunny.
Okay, that's right. 90 degrees in New York. Well, I don't know if you saw the opening of Saturday Night Live, but it was really very funny. The opening of Saturday Night Live was
I didn't see it.
Okay, it was Central Park, and it was the first 90-degree day in Central Park, and how it brought out all the nuts and crazies. Okay, that's was my day in Wisconsin on Saturday. I went down. I actually went to an art festival, and tons of people. And finally, everybody's out in shorts and tops, and all the crazies are out. Yeah, and the next day, snow. Next day, zap. No, the crazies be gone. Yeah. It's a wild ride. That's right, Jody. It is. Snowmobiling and bikinis. You're right, Jody. It is really strange.
Wow.
Gosh. Oh, that's very funny.
Not a worm. It has an antenna. Yeah, it's very too Sherry.
Oh, my gosh.
I wanted to let everybody know also, because I didn't get a chance to put this on my Facebook Live, but tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'm going to do my first call for Mediumship 1. It's a certification course. And people have been asking when I'm going to do this again. So this is only once every 2 years that I do this. So tomorrow is the first call. And it's you have to register as Mediumship 1. We have a low turnout. So it's good because you get a lot of personal attention. So, but it closes tomorrow after this, tomorrow at 2:00 in the afternoon. Pacific time, the course closes, and it'll close for at least another year, at least a year and a half.
So, and let me just say this: if anybody is thinking about doing this course, this is the time, because this new eclipse that we have at the new moon, it's a full total eclipse at a new moon. It's huge. It means to start something new. All the planets right now in Aries are going to mean start something new, because Aries is new. It's the beginning. So this would be a great time for mediumship.
It feels right to me. It feels really, really right. And I'm thinking of doing it in person with all the students, the new students.
Yeah. You love that. That's going to be fun.
I do. So I might be doing that for everybody. So if you're interested, please go to Renee put that up there, both sides on TV. And if you want to, just click on that and you'll go to the school and it says click the button and look at it and their payment plans and all that. But it's a great course, not only for mediumship, but kind of like your own sense of self, of learning about your soul self, like sitting in the stillness of your being and really being connected with your soul. I did a Hay House webcast last week in New York. Of course, I had two things. And we talked about it and sitting in the stillness, and people talk about the soul, and I said mediumship is really, for me, it's there you go. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, Michelle says, I've done your Mediumship 1 and it's life-changing.
Thanks, Michelle. It is. And it's hard for me to tell people to buy it, but they should, because it does change your life. It changes your perspective of life and how you're living in this life.
Yes.
And your relationship with your soul, my soul and I. Sometimes we just walk through the world just like as is, but when you start to have the relationship with your own soul, it really helps.
Yeah.
Joan Walker did the
Joan
course.
Walker, I did the course and I had a reading recently and was asked if I was a light worker.
You said, yes,
Yay!
I am.
That's
Yes, I am.
great. That's
It
great.
changes your life in all different aspects, in all different ways. There's no one way you can say it
Right.
changes you because your choices are different. Your life changes in so many ways. As these
And what time does this time tomorrow? People are
3,
asking.
3 p.m. Western
Pacific time. So
Pacific.
that means in
6
Ontario,
o'clock.
Canada, it's probably 6 or 7 p.m.
6,
I'm
right,
guessing.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
So 3 p.m. Pacific and Eastern is 6, and Australia and other places down under. You have to check that out.
Oh, Lisa Jasmusian says, I signed up and I'm ready to learn
Lisa.
and grow and spread the light. Great, Lisa. That's going to be
you.
so fun. It's going
I've
to
been
be
waiting a
great.
long time for this, Lisa. It's an opportunity for sure.
Yeah. Dawn wants to know if she can access it later for a replay.
Yeah, but you have to sign up to you have to register for the course first, Dawn, and then you can get a replay if you want to. We'll have a replay of it. And I'm going to do some readings tomorrow too. I'm going to do I'm going to demonstrate mediumship, the first course, the first class, first call.
Okay.
And it's been a good one. Talk about what we're going to expect in the course. So yes, you
Good.
can sign up first, Dawn. Yep.
Good. Somebody has a good question. They said, James, this is from Colleen. She says, is it okay to listen to music while sitting in the stillness to develop as a medium?
I'm going to say no. And that's my own personal opinion, because I want you just to listen to your body, to listen to your soul, to listen to the subtle changes. And that might sound weird to you, but I guarantee you begin to hear things on a very subtle level. So I would say the music might distract you in this respect, because you're really going to go within and you're going to listen to your soul speak to you. So you're shifting dimensions, really. You're shifting the space. And I want you to become so aware of that space changing, transfiguring, if you will, that the music might throw you. So I want you to be totally there and centered. And I'll tell you, after you sit in the stillness for about 2 or 3 weeks, the music you'll find will really distract you, because you're going to be so into that quiet part. It's so, the stillness is very loud. It really is. And it's very subtle. Right, Kellee? And
music would throw me. It would. I couldn't just. I just like to be alone in the silence.
You got to be in your own self, your own soul self. The music will throw you. So, and you'll learn. You learn patience, and it's a great passive space to be in, because it's almost like that twilight space you go into, sitting in this.
It's a good way to describe it. Yeah,
that twilight space,
right.
and you realize that you're so much more than just what you seem to be. You go deeper and deeper and deeper within. Oh wait, hold on, she's around. That woman is that. What did she say? You awaken the deep, that you awaken the depths of your soul. She just said. Belinda.
Oh, I love it, Belinda. I love that.
Your soul. That's what I just heard her say. She's right behind me when I do this. She has her hands on my shoulder. She has red hair. She has green eyes. She looks a little bit like that country singer who had the
Reba.
Reba. A little bit like Reba. A little bit.
I love Reba. Reba was on the Today Show this morning. I love it. I love Reba. Yeah. Something about her. I love it, but I love Belinda.
Belinda, that's her name, Belinda, but she looks like her. Yeah, the country was. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I think that's great. It says Cynthia Kate Harper says, so excited to be on this journey. Much love and thanks to all of you. That's so sweet.
You.
Thank you. It's going to be very
good. And how many of you guys are going on the cruise in August? Anybody? I know we have 3 people.
I know Ann Margaret.
Ann Margaret's going for sure.
That's going to be fun.
Going to wear James. This is Ann Margaret.
Stepping into the spirit world. Yes, we've got a few places left.
Yep, and I'm going to leave. My sister is going to. I already wrote stuff down for the cruise.
Good.
My experience with her. The slipping out of the skin is going to be the shifting of awareness of conscious. Me. Yes, Constance, great. Penny, yay!
Yay!
Cruise goes for 10 days, Patty.
Is it 10 days?
Yeah,
I think it's 7, but
7 to 10.
We're gonna 7 to 10. We've got to get there early, and then yeah.
But usually get in 1 day earlier, stay 1 day early. Yeah.
Right.
And we're staying in Seattle.
Yes, we are.
And you got your stuff booked. I don't think I booked my hotel. I got to check that out.
Oh, I did that.
You're coming early to my house, though, Kellee.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And Janelle, a great media from Australia, is going to be on the cruise.
Janelle and I both. Yep. It's going to be so fun. And you know who's coming? Tammy. Tammy is coming.
I was thinking about Tammy. My brother's in North Carolina right now. I said, go visit Tammy.
Oh, we should go visit Tammy. She's coming. Yeah, it's going to be so fun. Patty Weeks is going on the cruise. Yay.
Oh, great, Patty.
Good.
I can't, Karen, go to Australia. I wish I could, but I can't right now.
I know.
Yvonne Smith, Hi, Yvonne. And will the call be added to my existing Mediumship 1 course? No, it's a brand new one. Also, we'll send an email. Thank you, sweetheart. It's going to be, Yvonne. It's you in it's this. You've already done it, so it won't be part of that.
Yeah. Elizabeth Preston's going. Yay, Elizabeth, you're going with your boyfriend. That ought to be fun.
That's right. That's great. Great, Elizabeth.
Good. Yeah, Tammy Hendricks. Patty.
Yeah.
Yes, Patty. Yes.
Here's what Lisa Blakely says. I really would like for you to think about considering banquet rooms like in hotels. I think it is personal sessions. Well, we've done that. I've done that for years.
It's from the 70s and 80s, old school.
Yeah. I missed that too, Lisa. But the cruise is close to that. It's going to be people physically there. And I did the banquet halls. But yep. Cindy Walker. I went in your 2000 cruise with Brian with the Bogaties. How are the Bogaties? Do you know how they are, Cindy? Hi, Cindy. Of course, I remember you, Cindy. Of course. Yes, of course. Thank you, Cindy. How are the Bogaties? Are they in Puerto Rico or in Seattle? I forget. And and their daughter must be a teenager by now. Sorry, inside. You meet a lot of fun people.
Yes, you do. You do.
I'm not going to have one next year. This will be the last one I'm going to do. This cruise. This is my last cruise.
It's going to be a great cruise. They are doing great, she says. I talked to David the other day. Both of them are wonderful.
Cindy, give them thy love, please. I love those guys.
Oh,
Kelly met them before, actually, one of the cruises. I think it must.
We met him in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yes.
I do remember.
Yes,
I do remember.
Yes. Great.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. We do meet a lot of really fun people, a lot of interesting people,
and lifetime friends. A lot of
lifetime friends. That's so true, and we really create a lot of memories.
And Jordy, I met my best friend Jordy Fisher.
Jordy's not coming with us, is she?
No, I just talked to her today. The very first cruise I did in Greece with Brian Weiss, and it was an old ship. It was a terrible ship. Real clunker and really bad, worse than a ferry. And I remember going up the gangplank, and I turn around and look at this lady's green eyes and look at her and she smiles. I say, hi, how are you? She goes, great. Now that I'm here for you. I said, oh, great. She goes, my bags didn't make it, but I did. I wear the same thing every day. And I said to Brian, my partner Brian at the time, I said, not Brian, it's another Brian. And I said, oh, we got to hang out with this lady. She has a great attitude. And that's when she's so great. She's been a real special force in my life. And her son, Ian, had passed. And he came through the very first demonstration on the ship. And I remember he said, Mom, thank you for bringing my T-shirt, but you brought the one with a hole in it. And she goes, yes, I did. And she opens up and brings this T-shirt with a hole in it.
Oh,
friends that have been life friends.
She's great. She's a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Attracts like-minded people going these things.
Yes, that's so true. And that's what we're going to have.
Yeah.
It's going to be a ball. We're going to have the best time.
It's funny, Kelly, a lady in the dog park, all she does is cruises. And she just came back from Fort Lauderdale when it was flooded. Ooh. And she told me all about her cruise. And her dog, Nikki, loves me. So Nikki goes under my legs. And it's really fun. And I'm sorry, Charlie. Charlie is the dog. And then my other friend Melissa has a Nikki. But Charlie goes on and just stays there and just loves to be petted. And Debbie tells me all about her trips. It's fun.
You have fun. You're having a good time.
Joe and Wilson. I was on the Alaskan cruise in 2005. The coastline glaciers are so beautiful. I found the energy there to be soul cleansing. Yeah, it's a pure energy, Joanne, isn't it? It's a very pure energy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Mary Snyder says, I was on that cruise and I remember Jordy. How sweet is that?
Oh, yeah. Mary Snyder. Remember Jordy? She's still kicking. She's great. She's fabulous. I just spoke to her about an hour or 2 hours ago.
Oh my gosh. James, have you been to the pyramids in Egypt? I have not.
I have not.
I haven't either.
And I was thinking about the Nile and doing that, but I don't know. I'm not, for some reason, I'm not pulled like our friend. Our friend.
We have a friend that, Kathy. Kathy.
So Kathy does those trips to Egypt.
She does.
She has tried to get us on several. I've never felt a great big pull there. It's the only place I really haven't been. I've been to China either. I haven't been to China.
I've been to China a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah, but I have not been had that pulled into Egypt myself.
I
would do it, but I just haven't been pulled yet.
I haven't pulled it. The only place I've been pulled to is Sri Lanka. Don't ask me why.
I was in Sri Lanka.
Were you?
I was. 1979.
How was it?
I thought it was wild. I loved it. I love that part of the world.
But at Bali, I asked you about Bali. You didn't like Bali.
I haven't been to Bali. I was in Sri Lanka, but I was not in Bali.
But my roommate just went to Bali. Just came back from Bali. He loved it. But someone else I spoke to said, no, I didn't care for Bali. Now, my friend Victor, who's a massage therapist, body worker, healer, incredible. He worked on me the other day, thank God. He does Thai massage, which is great. He learned it in Thailand. And I said, so what's going on with your van? He lives in his van. And I said, what's going on with your van? He goes, well, I'm going on my trip next year. I said, where are you going? He's doing the Pan America trip. And I said, where does that involve? You start all the way up in Seattle or up in Oregon or Washington State and drive all the way down through Central America and South America, all the way to Argentina, below Argentina.
In a car?
In his van, yeah. To the Antarctica.
Yikes.
Yeah. So how long will it take? He goes, about 2 years. I said, okay. Because he's going to visit
2 years.
Yeah. He's going to visit family on the way. And yeah.
That is
He's a double Gemini.
Is he young?
He's 29.
Okay, there you go. Like,
And I heard someone when he's working on, I heard someone say he's a flight, something his soul's got to fly or something like that. And yeah, some people learn that. You know, a lot of people will learn, but traveling. I mean, my grandmother told me when I was 3 years old, she said, you'll never, she goes, as you grow older, and she was 3 or 4 years old, I was, and she had a map of the world, and she goes, this is going to be your greatest teacher, travel. And she was right. It's really taught me quite a bit in travel.
Right? I know. Yeah. So true. So
I
true.
My closet, and I have my closet, I have like books in over 60 different languages around the world.
Wow, James, that's amazing. You should be so proud of that. That's a huge deal.
It's a big, big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal all over the world. Yeah.
Wow. So Carrie Hypnosis says, I can't wait for August. So ready for an adventure.
Oh, good.
So much fun. Good. It's going to be a great adventure.
Car. He isn't driving cattle that way. Oh. You're funny, Kim.
Very funny.
What's going on with you, Kellee? You have something this Thursday, don't you?
I have my show this Thursday. Ask Me Anything, and we'll be highlighting this week. Now, just remember, folks, this is a big week. This is a big week astrologically for people. And we're doing one night. Next week is going to be a different. We're going to do a night of psychic readings as well. Well, yeah, but next week I think we have a guest. And the week after that, we have like 2 weeks in a row, and then we're going to be doing psychic readings. Everybody, we promise we'll be getting back to that. We just wanted to catch up with each other and with everything that's going on in the world and with everybody. Joe says, thanks for tonight's show. Love and light to both of you. We need sun in the Pacific. Thanks for relaxing evening. You're welcome. Yeah, it's great. Thank you, everybody. Really, all right. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks, James. And thank you, Renee. And see, tomorrow, you got a big day tomorrow. 3 o'clock tomorrow, the phone call for mediumship. See everybody. Thanks, Kellee. Okay, good.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kellee Show.